Hello class and welcome to section 7.7, which is multiplying binomials and polynomials. So our goal today here is to be able to do this multiplication. When we do this, we're going to use a nice chart to help us set up and keep our information straight. So if you notice, we've got 2 pieces in this first term and 2 pieces in this second term. So when we set this up, we're going to draw a box and we're going to split it in half for the terms here and in half for the terms over here. So I'm going to go ahead and say then my first term is x and my second term, including that negative sign, is -2. Then when I come over to the second term, my first one is x and my second one is +4, or we can just write 4. Now, our goal here is to multiply. The reason we set it up in this box is to make sure that each piece gets multiplied. So the first piece is x times x, or x squared. So that's multiplying those first 2. Then we've got x times -2, which is -2x. So that's taking care of those pieces. Then we've got x times 4, or 4x, which is going to give me those pieces. And the last piece is 4 times -2, which is going to give me -8. So what it really is a giant distributive property, but instead of trying to make sure we have all of those lines in there, we're going to keep it lined up in these boxes to make it a lot easier on ourselves visually. The last thing we need to do is make sure that we've simplified everything. So we're looking for like terms. So x squared is by itself. Then we've got a +4x and a -2x. So 4x's minus 2x's gives me a +2x's. And then we've got -8 all by itself. So our final answer is x squared plus 2x minus 8. Walking through another example like this. So again, 2 pieces in the first, 2 pieces in the second is going to give us a box that ends up being 4 spaces. So we're going to go ahead and plug in our information from the first one, +2x and +3, and then our second one, x and +5. Again, when you are finding that inside piece of the box, you are multiplying. So x times 2x is 2x squared. X times 3 gives me 3x. 2x times 5 gives me 10x, and 5 times 3 gives me 15. Again, combining those like terms, 2x squared is all by itself because it has a 2 in the exponent. 10x and 3x go together because those are both plain x's, so we get 13x. And then again, the 15 is a number all by itself, so we have 15 at the end, giving us a final answer of 2x squared plus 13 plus 15. Go ahead and try this one on your own. After we set up our box, we end up with an answer of 3x squared plus 8x minus 60. Again, paying attention to those negative signs as you combine. So now we're going to take it a step further, and instead of just having 2 and 2, we now have 2 and 3. The method is not going to change, just the size of our box. So when we're plugging it in, we need to split it in half for the first 2, and then into 3 pieces for our second term. So we're still going to put in 6x and +5, and then going down, we've got 2x squared, we've got a -3x, and we've got a -5. So again, exact same kind of idea, just changing the size of the box. We're still going to fill in the inside of the box by multiplying. So 6 times 2 gives me 12. X times x squared gives me x to the 3rd. 2 times 5 is 10. And then we've just got x squared. 6 times -3 is -18. X times x is x squared. 5 times -3 is -15 with just an x. -5 times 6 gives me -30 with just an x. And -5 times 5 gives me -25. Again, we're going to go through and combine only the ones with matching exponents. So we're going to start 12x to the third all by itself. Then we've got our pieces that are x squared. Then we've got our pieces that are just regular x. And then we have just our numbers by itself. So we've got 12x to the third. Then I've got negative 18 and positive 10, which gives me negative 8x squared. Negative 30 and negative 45, or excuse me, negative 15 gives me a total of negative 45. And then we've got the minus 25 on the end for a final answer of 12x to the third minus 8x squared minus 45x minus 25. Go ahead and try this one on your own. So again, we set up our boxes, 2 on the top, 3 going up and down. Do our multiplication, and we end up with 12x to the third minus 15x squared minus 69x plus 18. The last type of problem you're going to see on this, again, same process. We are just adding one more section to our box. So we still have our box. This time, it's going to be 3 columns going across, 1, 2, 3, and 3 rows going across. So one space for each of the terms. Plugging in our top, or our first one, we've got 2y squared, we've got a positive 3y, and we've got a negative 1. Plugging in our second terms, we've got a 3y squared, a negative 5y, and a positive 2. Now we're going to go ahead and multiply. 3 times 2 is 6. Y squared times y squared is y to the fourth. 3 times 3 is 9. Y times y squared is y to the third. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3 with just y squared. Then we've got negative 5 times 2, which is negative 10. Y times y squared is y to the third. Negative 5 times 3, negative 15. Y times y is y squared. Negative 5 times negative 1 is positive 5 with just a y. 2 times 2 is 4 with just y squared. 2 times 3 is 6 with just y. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Final step, go through and look for our matching exponents. So we've got our power of 4. We've got couple with a power of 3. We've got 3 pieces now that have to the second power, couple of regular y's, and then a negative 2. So starting, we've got our 6y to the fourth power. 9 plus a negative 10 is going to give me a negative 1y to the third. Then we've got negative 3 minus 15, which gets us down to negative 18. But then we have another positive 4, so we're only at negative 14y squared. Positive 6 and positive 5 give me a positive 11y, and then we're subtracting 2 at the end. So going through and combining all of those pieces with matching exponents. Go ahead and try this one on your own. Making your 3 by 3 box, you end up with 6y to the fourth plus 28y to the third minus 62y squared plus y plus 24. If you have questions about this or anything else from the lesson, please let me know when you get to class.